Well, they tried that, and they can't get any traction with that. So, we'll do whatever we can. Just put it on camera, I guess. That's a dedication. It's like the guy with the nice car, right? He's just coming to the sun. He thinks car will cheap him a lot of money. So, I like a real song. This is supposed to be like a quick BS
Yeah, my computer on so I can see you and hear you.
Yes. Just mute your
It's looking like everybody's looking at me.
Yes, because you need to mute your computer. Well, I think we're good.
Oh, look.
Okay. I didn't appreciate where it was
Good evening, everyone.
They're gonna discuss.
I would like to call the Schenectady City Council meeting for Monday, November 4th, 2021 to order. I will go straight into city development and planning. Ms. Porterfield.
Thank you. I'd like to call City Development and Planning to order. We have 16 items on the agenda. The first item on the agenda is approval to extend use agreement with Miracle on Craig Street for Apartment Community Center redevelopment. Ms. Dia.
Good evening, everyone. Is this room? Okay. So Miracle on Craig Street has a use agreement
Carmel, you need to mute.
Miracle on Craig Street has a use agreement with the city of Schenectady that was executed on December 19th of 2019 for the parcel associated with the Carver Community Redevelopment Project in the Hamilton Hill neighborhood. This current use agreement expires December 19th of 2021. To accommodate the delays resulting from COVID-19 and the associated impacts, we're requesting an extension of the use agreement with a new expiration date of December 30th, 2022. So we're looking for approval from the City Council to amend this use agreement. And I know we have representation from Miracle on Craig Street who can, I don't know, Ray, if you just want to come up and speak a little bit about, you know, the progress and where the project is.
Absolutely. I know Trayvon from Blue Light Development. How you doing? First of all, how's everybody doing? Good. I know, it's like a little bit weird energy, like we haven't seen each other in person for a long time. Nice to see everyone. Trayvon's stuck in traffic. He was supposed to speak to the Capitol project. But we've been experiencing some extreme delays with HVAC and plumbing due to COVID-19 and bidding. But aside from that, we've been hosting a slew of community cleanups in preparation for the renovations of the center, which we have a board members coming with us, visuals as well. But we've gutted the interior, we've got rid of both gym floors, we've started paint scraping, we've put a mural on the north side of the building, we've done a slew of landscaping, reclaimed our playground space. We also have the electricity on, the panels have finally gotten on, that took about 9 months. But we do have electricity on in the building, and we're just waiting for HVAC and ready and the plumbing. So we are moving and making extended project.
Ms. Lewis.
So I know there's been a delay with the pandemic and supply chain issues. Do you have any idea what that's going to cost you? I mean, as far as additional fundraising and whatnot, just so people out there know that you can still use money?
Absolutely, yeah. Again, Trayvon, this is his, specialty.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's fine. The bidding numbers are all different, but it's anywhere from 50 to 100K and that's a rough estimate. Nothing's concrete. That's a rough estimate. And part of the obstacles that we faced are we do have funds, but we can't use the funds because we have to use other funds, which is something that has been incredibly confusing, right? Because I know we have, ties with Metroplex, but then there was CDBG grant that we were supposed to have funds for and use those, but when we applied for another grant, we got turned down because they said we have to use the 150K from the previous grant that we can't use. So there's been additional obstacles with that. And it's not like we've been sitting and not doing anything. We've been reaching out, and we were supposed to get support from Tedisco and Santa Bria, and one said that if the other two, match us, then they'll match, and then the other two didn't agree. So it's been a whirlwind. Right Family Foundation, we had several meetings with them to get support, and they turned us down. It's like someone's always waiting for someone else to support us in order to support us, So, and if I'm being transparent, the most support that we have has been from people who are like the most like unresourceful or have lack of resources, which is faith-based community and Hamilton Hill community. So the beautiful thing about our cleanups is different people always show up, and those are the people who have been consistent. So yeah, it's been tough, and I think it's important for us to have the tough conversation about how we can get more resources, because to your point, we do still need money.
So let me just,
Sorry, I was just gonna say also, just because, working on this project for a bit now, so the CDBG funding is $150,000, it is reimbursement basis.
okay.
So the $300,000 total was the number to really do the HVAC, plumbing, and electrical work. The electrical work has been completed, but they can't really do everything at once because again, it's reimbursement basis, so they really just do one piece at a time. So, like Ray mentioned, they finished the electrical portion of that, and now they're moving to try to get, HVAC contractors in to give a price. But that's been really difficult in the current context. So I think that's why next phase of the project.
Kristen, just to be clear, have we spent any of the 150 from the CDBG at all, not had the opportunity to do that?
Yes, I think it was close to 50,000,
Yep.
and that was for the electrical work.
Okay.
So that was the first step, because they needed power to be able to then, do the rest of the stuff.
So the challenging part is having the money to do it, so I'm understanding what you say, because it's reimbursed of the grant, right?
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
So, all right. So you're asking for this extension, and as was asked, so I know that we're waiting for Trayvon, I'm not sure if he's gonna make it on time, but, so right now you need 150 to 100,000 in order to move forward, but not money that's tied up in any way. You need to be able to straightforward have that money, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been one of our biggest hurdles, is if we have money that's sitting, but we can't use it, how can we move forward with anything? And if I know it's been a long time, but our feasibility study, it's $1.5 million, and that's with bells and whistles to have the doors open. And the 150K and 350K, it's like a raindrop in a bucket. I don't mean to be frank, but I do mean to be frank. But it's just, it's been like a slew of astounding disparities on our part. You know what I mean? We've been through hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. We continue to show up, and we continue. Hi, Georgina. How you doing? We continue to show up. We continue to do what's being asked of us, and we're just looking for more support and more support that makes sense. You know what I mean? And this is not to pull anybody or anything like that. I just, I think it's important to have honest conversations. And
one of the barriers you're feeling like is the reimbursement element.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. And I don't know, there's got to be ways around where we can have these funds where they're not tied up so that we can use them. Or there's not rules against the funds where we have to spend some to get some. Especially since we're so early on in the stages of the prepping for renovations. We don't want to spend all of our money, then we still have to get the HVAC and plumbing done at the bidding, and we don't have any money for that stuff. So it's just tough. It's tough when the funds are tied up. So it's a big obstacle.
That reflects also the question, did you say that?
Yep.
And is it the same kind of thing, reimbursable?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. But I know there was a mention of we had to spend the money that we do have in order to get more.
The first 150.
The first 150. Yes, exactly right. Which I still don't. The board. I speak for my board and the board members. Any of you can chime in when you want to. But with a project of this magnitude, we all know it's going to cost quite a bit of money. So I don't understand, why we have to be tied down to funds when we need all of them. We need as many funds as we can get, So it's been tough. It's been tough. And I know that when the obstacles are alleviated, we move. Granted, COVID has slowed us down, but like I said, I think it's really important to note that as a community, we continue to show up and we continue to go. Georgina, would you mind passing the visuals around? I think that visuals are super important just to see the progress that we've done, even though we've had obstacles. we can talk about it all the time, but without seeing it, it doesn't make it real to me. Just to see the inside of the building and see all the work that's being done to prep for renovation, that's one less thing that we'll have to worry about. But the funds, we need those, you know, money is what we need.
Mr. President?
So I recommend that we accept the extension at this time and maybe assist with some other alternatives. I don't know if you find a community loan fund or community foundation for any help with this. You know, sometimes they'll be able to help out. It's kind of tough for the city at this point to kind of, you know, from my perspective, we need to get just more than one funder is the challenge. So
For sure.
and that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, and we have, and I appreciate that recommendation so much. We've reached out to, like I said, Schenectady Foundation. They turned us down. If you ask me, I think that was a personal thing because, you know, Rosa was working there and then she decided to take on Marathon Craig Street full time. Like I said, if I'm being quite frank, I think it's important for us to have these transparent conversations if we want to get ahead. You know, we want to see progress with this. You know, we met with the county and I can send you a list of email chains and just nothing, you know what I mean? And we thought that attaining ownership of the building would give us a leg up. And I don't know if for some reason we're still not being believed in, even though we continue to show up, we continue to do what's being asked of us, but we're just not getting the support that we anticipated. Like I said, the most support we've gotten is from the community and from faith-based communities. And yeah, we're looking for more resources, for more help. You know, not a handout, but a hand up. You know, and the crazy thing is we're running programming. We just don't have a house for it. You know, the community center. We've got our Google programming going. We still have the community and police basketball league going. Just to give you a couple names of partners that have come out to help us, Schenectady City School District. Multiple principals have come out and supported us. The C Center has been incredible with support. DSA, is that the acronym? DSA has been incredible with coming out and supporting us. The SUNY DSA has been incredible. So I don't want you guys to think that we haven't been reaching out and searching for partners and collaborations, but we've been doing nothing but that. Like I said, especially through the pandemic, even with all the obstacles with the stopping of HVAC and things, we still have been moving, you know, doing what we can, just to show proof that we're going to continue to move until the doors are open, because the community needs it.
I was just going to say that I know that the loan fund is a potential partner in this, and they had committed to a bridge loan to access the Metro Trust funds, but I think that they're waiting to see the full kind of scope of work, which is difficult to get pricing right now for certain things that are so far in the future, is what's been communicated to us. So I think at this time they're asking for the extension to just continue to move forward and get more support.
So, did you have any, I know that you have other board members here, so do you want anything else before we, move forward to, or any other council member have questions? Okay, because, we would act, tonight we would act on, the extension, and then we'd probably have these larger conversations about, the funding, so.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get in the weeds, it's just,
Okay.
Listen, it's important to start the conversation, right?
Think about what's actually going to get this project done and the resources that are going to be needed to complete it.
I think it's important that we know that.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
So can I recommend that we grant the extension?
So you want to make a motion that we extend the extension? Will second that? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you for
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the transfer of city-owned properties to the land use position from Richmond of the Capital District of London for use of the Legacy Access Program.
Okay, so the city and the land bank are partners on a lot of things, mostly to return vacant, abandoned, underutilized property to productive use. So So the Legacy City Access Program is funded by the New York State budget through HCR to provide land banks with renovation funding for distressed 1 to 3 unit properties. And this is to create home ownership opportunities by partnering with local MWBE certified and/or minority owned developers. So we have been working with the land bank to identify properties. Given the recent redevelopment in Mount Pleasant, over 40 demolitions, the Orchard Park expansion, the Wallingford Park splash pad, the New Boys and Girls Club, the libraries, the Main Street facade program. There's been a lot of reinvestment in Mount Pleasant, and we think that that's one of the areas where this opportunity for home ownership can really help out in terms of just creating that stabilization in the neighborhood and dealing with some of the most difficult properties that are there to really just try and sort of infill and rehab properties in that area. So David Hogenkamp is here from the Land Bank. I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, if you have any questions about the program, the land bank funding that we've had in the past has been pretty discretionary. We did a lot of blighted home removals in partnership with Kristen and the team here. This is a prescriptive program to try to create home ownership out of some of the blighted homes. The land bank needs to have control of those properties. So we appreciate your support. The program is set up so you can have 3 different legacy cities projects going at a time, which is 5 to 10 properties. So we'll look for a development team that meets the criteria they're looking for over in Mount Pleasant, right here where we're proposing all the changes for the positive on Crane Street, and then hopefully we'll continue to find more opportunities for more local developers.
So the request tonight is for the city of Schenectady to enter agreements with the land bank for the transfer of the 10 properties that are listed. And this is basically for the legacy city program.
Are there any questions? I'll motion. I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you, Ms. Gill. All right, snow plowing rates, Mr. LaFawn.
Good evening. The question you have for Crane tonight is to establish the rates for the 2021-22 snow plowing season. As we all know, winter's going to come. Hopefully we won't see snow. But in preparation of that, we'd like to approve the rates, the hourly rates for the equipment, so that we can move forward and procure a document with law to solicit services for the plowing season coming up. These are not to exceed rates. These are the rates that we would be paying for that equipment on an hourly basis.
Have you identified the individual contractors now?
I've not. I can't identify contractors until you approve the rates, and then we can advertise when the final document is approved by law. We'll put that out, and then hopefully we'll get contractors to come in like we've done in the past years. But we've established the rates going forward.
All right, any questions?
Are these the same rates as last year?
No, rates went up. With the labor shortage, the fuel prices, they had to go up.
I want to make sure we're competitive, so thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we,
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. LaFawn. You gotta mute your computer. All right.
I guess you guys can't hear me vote. I'm trying to vote in a question.
I don't.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
can't, your computer's back, feed back on
So
it.
you gotta mute your computer or your phone whenever.
My computer is muted. Should I mute the phone?
Well, that's the only way we can hear you, so,
Unless you mute your phone and see if you can hear us on the computer.
yeah.
I can hear you guys on both devices.
All right, so.
Well, mute your phone then.
And turn your computer on and see if you can hear us.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the award bidding contract for the construction of maintenance storage at the mini Dell Park. Mr. Wallen?
So first item, as it says in the backup materials, we have 3 buildings. 2 were original to golf course construction. 1, I believe, was constructed in the 70s. One of the original buildings we were forced to take down 6 years ago. It was our larger storage building. We were hoping to go this route and build a new building. However, we had to find a way that was within budget. We started with a typical building, then we moved budgetarily to one of the prefab buildings. So we put out the bid for a prefab building. It's basically, this is going to be a concrete slab with a metal barn-like building that you see kind of out in the suburbs, and we're going to be doing a lot of the work in-house once the shell is built. So we're going to be doing electrical in-house, bringing it on. Our plumber's going to help out, and then we're going to build within the shell. So it'll take a little while, but in the meantime, it'll give us a large, clean, open area that's outside of the weather to keep our equipment in. A lot of our equipment is being stored currently too at the Oregon Ave Parks garage, the old garage. So this will also help keep all the equipment in one area on the golf course, not across from it, which is good. So we've been trying to do this for, Anthony, 9 years, I think, before I got here. This was a project, so we're hoping to move forward. This company's worked with the city in the past. They've worked with the state and did our due diligence. We've already had some meetings before I came to you with Ron and Aaron, and we're comfortable bringing it forward.
Okay. Are there any questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Second. Okay.
All those in favor? Aye.
I did hear it.
All right, Mr. Wallen, award comes into contract for removal, for a CDBG pavement preservation, Newcastle pavement.
So this is a second paving program. What we did is due to the requirements with all the different monies that we have now in CDBG in Section 3, we had quite a bit of money left over from COVID because we didn't do a paving program with CDBG then. So we decided to put out an independent paving program just focused on the applicable areas, which is Hamilton Hill in this case, kind of around Craig Street where we're going to be doing our work. It's a CDBG only contract so that we can focus on all the requirements on one contract. We had a lot of bids, I believe 5 bids. The low was Newcastle, who we've worked with in the past on Orchard Park. We've had a discussion with them, Ron's discussed with them already. The requirements that will be, we're going to use the off-season, so to speak.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move this one. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now the awarded contract for removal and replacement of the partitions at the city of Schenectady Central Park Amphitheater.
Yep, so the amphitheater, also known as Music Haven, has a series of operable partitions at our doors that go like this, and they rotate. And they're used for both sound and access the stage. The doors, before we put the security fencing up, were vandalized. They also have seals that are broken, so animals, birds, and squirrels and things have been going in and out of Music Haven, making it a hard place to clean. So we put out a bid and got Huffcore, was really the only supplier of such a door. It's the same people that supply high school gymnasiums, those operable partitions, just much smaller. So we're looking to get the doors ordered and then once again install it in time for Music Haven's next season, so that we can get that facility kind of back up. It looks great though, the facility looks good, the lawn and everything. The whole thing is good, security gates have been working, so hopefully this will be a one-time investment for the next little while.
Mr. Lewis, well done.
So is everything tidied up, nothing's getting in over the winter?
I don't know, we put some things in temporarily,
Alright.
but
Are there any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move it.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Mr. Wallen.
thank you.
All right, the next item is refunding of the 2014 bond series. Mr. Ferrari.
Council President, Mayor, Council. One of the things that we do at the Finance Department is review constantly opportunities that help the city to save money, especially what we're talking about is an opportunity to renew and refund our 2014 bonds of $28,950,000. Now, we were looking at this opportunity with the rates with Roosevelt and Cross and our fiscal advisors that we have an opportunity to save approximately $4.3 million over the next 16 years, the average of over $255,000 a year. And if you looked at what I had sent you, if you look at page 1 of the refunding highlights, you would see what the total would be. What we're asking of this is as you saw in my memos, we're asking for an ordinance to be a little bit higher, just in case the fluctuation of the market. But we pretty much set on that 4.3 million. That's the best case scenario. Our worst case scenario, we're thinking of $3.7 million savings, which is still a savings. So we're jumping on this opportunity, and I brought it in a rush only because it's just like, it's the perfect time.
Any questions? All right, I'll move it. Okay.
Thank you.
Armel, did you second? Okay, you second.
All those in favor?
Can you turn the sound up on that? Does that sound good? I don't know. It
I don't-
says
I don't know.
out there. I don't know anything about it.
Okay. So, next item on the agenda is standard workday to report a resolution for elected and appointed officials. Ms. Michael.
Previously, we passed on August 9th, standard workday resolution for the year state and local retirement system. They wrote a letter to us saying that there was some further information needed, and we need to repass this resolution, including the last 4 of council members' social security number and registration numbers, and update on record activities and results.
All right, so in terms of the last 4 of the social, I understand it's only the last 4. However, how does that information, how public is that information made?
So the copy of the resolution that I will need to post can have that redacted, but the resolution that is sent to them need to have it on there.
Any questions?
No, oh, sorry.
Any other? You move it?
I'll move it.
Second? I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. The next item on the agenda is discussion renaming Terrace Heights to Museum Drive. There's a public hearing on 10/25. We actually only had 1 speaker and then someone that spoke about it a little bit later that was in favor of it. So are there any questions here? All right. Then I'll entertain motion to move this.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, discussion OSM broadcast of city council committee meetings, Mr. Palame.
Yep, almost weekly, I'm sure some of you also get the same complaints about the broadcast of the committee and council meetings. People either can't hear them, the video's not running, there's some sort of issue. We gotta figure this out. We either record it and play it so it works, or do it live and make sure it works. So I would like us to see about getting information from OSM on how to fix this problem, what it would cost, what options we would have for broadcasts. I think that might fall under your purview, Mr. Colvin. And just as a discussion tonight, bring it forward in the next weeks, because it continues to be a problem all the time, and quite frankly, I'm getting tired of hearing the complaints, and people are like, why can't we get this right? And if we can't get it right, then maybe we need to look for a different vendor. So I just putting it out there. I'll follow up with the mayor and OSM to see what the issues are, as well as Mr. Colden to see what options we have as far as the broadcasting. But I'm sure all of you have gotten similar complaints and thought we should take it up.
So, absolutely correct about that, following. Can we bring in OSM to find out exactly what is the problem? Is it equipment? Is it wiring? Whatever we need, maybe we need to set aside some funding to accommodate them so this doesn't continue to happen.
Yeah.
So I will have this back on the agenda. Let's bring them in. Let's have a little discussion.
Yeah, I just wanted to get it out there, see what everybody else's feelings are. I assume likewise, but
we're getting calls on this every week.
Absolutely, and I think that we definitely need to talk about it, because it used to work before, so I don't know where the breakdown happened. And now, I won't say all of a sudden, because over time, people are complaining they're having difficulty. So So you'll be moving forward by having a discussion with OSM?
Yeah, and bring them in, and also, to your point, I mean, it was just a few years ago, we upgraded all the equipment that was supposed to fix the issue, and obviously hasn't. So I don't know why it was working, now it's not, but hopefully we'll get it addressed.
Right, and so we're asking to have this back on in 2 weeks?
Yep.
Okay.
Ms. Porterfield?
Yes.
Well, I'd just like to add that this is the first time I'm actually watching this instead of being in the room.
Uh-huh.
I can't see any of the speakers. It's very difficult.
You can't see any of the speakers?
I would say that everything is pretty static, especially since I set it up, and I can't see the people who are speaking during the time. I thought the reason that we could speak and the table was that they were on camera, but they actually are not. So I just do want to say that, now that I'm sitting on the screen here, that.
So that's what we see.
Camera is on.
She sees that.
The camera typically jumps.
Yeah, it does, and it's not moving.
It's not moving.
It's not moving today. Normally it does, but I've seen it move.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you for those comments, but yeah, but the camera does, I've watched it before, the camera does move.
Oh, there you go.
But even to the speakers, like just see a person speaking,
Our hero.
just see a person speaking, and it'll actually move and go right to that person, but it's not working today.
That is a public broadcast, that's the WebEx.
Oh, this is just us, oh, this is the
That's the
WebEx
WebEx.
broadcast, that's why.
Yes,
That is the right, yeah.
this is the TV.
It's a fixed camera.
Yeah, so that's not the, not what people see on OSN. You're watching WebEx.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so, Mr. Coleman is gonna move forward on that and talk to OSN, but thank you for your input. Okay, any more discussion on that? All right, so our next item for discussion is the Statue of Liberty, Ms. Zalewski-Welzunis.
And Ms. Patrick, I was going to let you go first because you're online.
Okay, I hope you can hear me. I wanted to say that this is something that I've felt passionately about for the last couple of years, because the Statue of Liberty for us as Americans represents the gateway to our country. And for me, as a child of immigrants in a city that's just a city of immigrants, I just feel like it's very, very appropriate that the Statue of Liberty return to Gateway Park and welcome all of our visitors to Schenectady in a park that we've now spent so much money renovating. I think that, I hear the argument sometimes that the park now is supposed to be a place of public contemporary art, but I do want to suggest that, we don't want to throw in history as we continue to move forward with progress, and I think that, again, having Lady Liberty there with, for example, the Pride sculpture, which represents, freedom for a whole other group of individuals in our country that have worked hard to earn their rights. I just think it's a very, very appropriate setting for Statue of Liberty, and I really would like to see the council support the move of the statue back to Gateway Park. So that's what I wanted to say, and I appreciate Ms. Zalewski-Welzunis getting on the agenda tonight.
Ms. Zalewski-Welzunis?
So I'm in agreement. This has been a tough time for the poor little statue. She needs to go back to the park, and I know that, if we can get support here, I'm in hopes that we can hopefully get it moved back over there. So I'm in full support of it. So I'd like to make a motion to move it forward if I could.
So, what we could move forward is discussing with the mayor, because my understanding is he's the final decision maker. I wish he was still here, so he could have some input on this. So, Mr. Pauling?
We could actually move a resolution, support it as a council, whatever the mayor does, the mayor does. So we could do that. I think it's, the whole history of the movement of the statue and all that. I don't want to get into that because it's long and complicated and quite frankly crazy. But I would be in favor of moving it back at this point, and maybe we put a statue at that corner something to do with the Erie Canal, which would be more fitting.
Oh, to where Lake Liberty is now?
Yeah, I mean, just as an
Oh, maybe not
alternative.
anything, but.
Well, it could be nothing, but, you know, it's something we could move forward as a council, and whatever the mayor chooses to do, he chooses to do.
I think what we need to do is go back to where we originally, when it was originally moved, my understanding was said in there that it would be moved back, so we need to go back and look at that legislation as we're moving this resolution forward, and bring that back to say, this was the original plan, and we'd like to be able to have a resolution that the original plan is what we'll stick to.
That's exactly what I was going to ask for, is that the original resolution when this was moved, the discussion was to move it back to the original location.
That is my.
So we just go back to there, we can do a resolution in support of it, I'm totally agreeing to that. As long as I'm in this council, I think the majority of us in this council, all of us in this council supported relocated back to its original place, and I'm in full support of that.
So, so we're asking for a motion to draft a resolution to support the original idea of moving the Lake Liberty.
I just have a, is that resolution from 2013 binding or non-binding?
So, if I can elaborate it before, it's not a binding or not binding question. 2013 City Council passed resolution 2013-206, approving and adopting the 2013 Gateway Plaza implementation plan, over a 100-page plan. And I pulled out one quote from the plan that I thought was applicable. I was asked to look into it, just so that everybody's on the same page with what I saw. And I did a search, so I may have missed something, but I did a search just of Statue of Liberty to see where it was in the plan. And on page 19 of the plan, it's section 1.12, existing monuments and historic markers. It says, quote, "There are numerous monuments and historic markers throughout the park. The number of monuments and signs, coupled with their proximity to one another, has the effect of cluttering the park. Each should be evaluated as part of the new design, and careful consideration should be given as to how they are placed within the new plaza." That's what it said. I did not find anything in there saying, it should be removed. I did not find anything in there that said it should be relocated. I did not find anything in there that said it shouldn't be removed or it shouldn't be relocated. That's what I saw in looking at the plan. So I would say that is it binding? It's a plan that the council adopted. It's binding to the degree that it's been adopted by the council. But again, it's a plan, right? Plans sometimes don't always work exactly. So I think there is some maneuverability within the plan, because as things were developing with the plaza in terms of what they were doing to the park, that there had to be some flexibility within that. So there was the ideal of the plan, and then what actually happened.
So then our resolution should, just so we get it right, so our resolution should be to recommend the movement back to Liberty Park, or whatever. Still call it Liberty.
I don't have an opinion on that. That's not a legal question.
Okay.
The council can, authorize or pass a resolution however it feels fit as a body. So let's leave there.
Gateway Park.
I'll totally second that motion.
Right, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so who, Mr. York with Mr.
Yep. Mr. Cole,
Ms.
Mr.
Bowman,
Denver.
did that done? Okay. So the final 5 items on the agenda are in executive session. So, executive session.
So moved.
All set. All those in favor? Aye. We're in executive session. Public will have to leave.